Welcome back to the OBR YouTube channel. Welcome back to the market forecast for the week of January 24th. In this video, we're going to cover the fundamental drivers for this upcoming week, earnings in the S&P 500, as well as technical analysis, which we have a lot to talk about considering Thursday and Friday's market meltdown. So without any further delay, let's get right into it. You can see we have news on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday is at 2 p.m. for FOMC statement and federal funds rate, and then 2:30 for our FOMC press conference. Then on Thursday, we have news at 8:30 a.m. EST for the advanced GDP, and then 8:30 again on Friday for core PCE price index numbers. And as you can see on screen here are the earnings for the upcoming week. So in this week's video, we're going to start off on SPY. The reason we're going to start off on SPY is because everything right now is going to follow the index. And the index that I'm referencing is SPY. So due to the Thursday and Friday market meltdown that we faced, we do have to be very, very careful of where price is heading next. If you watched the weekend stream, we covered the fact that we did finish wave 5 up here, and we are now in a zigzag correction in the downside. So what that means is we can anticipate somewhat of a correction and then a continuation to the downside. We're going to see this same movement play out in all of our favorite equities due to the fact that everything is going to track the SPY. So be sure to keep an eye out for this. Maybe, it's not very likely, but it is definitely possible that we find a low and then move to make all-time highs in SPY. Although it is very, very unlikely, especially after we're getting close to this 10% correction. The price range I'm looking for right now is 408, because at that point, I believe we'll be at a 15% correction. So moving on from SPY, we're going to look at a lot of things, mainly just trades from last week, such as Boeing, which we'll get to in a second, but also things such as Amazon. Amazon, for example, just broke a major support level that we have to be aware of. What I'm waiting for now, and I'm setting an alert right now, is a retracement to this support, turn it into resistance, and then a continuation to the downside. And as you can see, that correlates with our analysis on SPY. Same thing on Boeing, really. We saw a very steep decline, which we did catch last week if you watched the market forecast. We called out Boeing, SPY, Disney, a couple of really great trades which all worked out great this last week. But now we're looking for a 5-wave impulse move to the downside. So we have wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Whenever we make a low, we don't know yet. Let's assume that this is our low. We will then correct for wave 4 and continue for wave 5. Again, correlating with SPY. Lucid looks like we may be able to go somewhere if we get a breakout of this resistance line, but again, we should only be bearish right now because that's what the market is telling us. So keep an eye out on Lucid, but don't blindly follow it. Looking at Ford, looking at something very, very similar. Again, Ford is one of my favorite projects for this upcoming year, but we do need to keep a close eye on it as we are going to correct after a very strong, impulsive move to the upside. So be careful on Ford, but look for prices as we correct lower, especially for long-term calls, for example. You could be buying leaps or equity on Ford, or naked calls if you'd like to if you're trading options. Delta, we called this short, and we are looking for more downside still on Delta because the airlines have been getting hit recently with Omicron and multiple other things due to cancellations such as the 5G rollout and a lot of other things really. So keeping an eye out for lower prices on Delta. And we're going to see this same premise play out in all of our favorite equities. Like I said, NVIDIA, we're looking at the same thing. Microsoft, PayPal, Beyond Meat. We're looking at a lot of things which we're just looking to correct, right? We need to see what SPY does. Even Apple is following the same exact price pattern, broke out of support, looking for a retracement, and then a continuation to the downside. And like we always say, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. We're looking for another wave lower, and this is just playing itself out in almost every chart that I'm looking at. And as we said last week, we did expect a new low on Bitcoin to be made, which did happen. And now my price range that I'm looking for is $33,400 to $31,000, because this is our next Fibonacci cluster to the downside. So going to be keeping a close eye on this. As money moves from riskier assets, such as the indices globally and cryptocurrency, we're going to see money pour out of those into safer assets as the indices continue to move lower. So you're going to see Bitcoin and most cryptos continue to move lower in the near term. This is by far our fastest market forecast, but it didn't need to go on too long because we're seeing the same thing play out, and we just need to be aware of that. So watch for lower prices, try to play continuations to the downside because that's what I'll be doing, and it worked out really well this last week. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you took some value out of this video and maybe even learned something that you can take into this next week. If you did, all that we ask is that you please like and subscribe, and I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Happy trading.